Alright, fantastic. So if you want to get the introductions underway, I'll just fix up my overlay and then see if I can do something quickly as well.
Certainly. In the bottom left of GSL Daybreak, we have from FS, spawning as the Red Terran, Eagle. And in the top right of this particular map, we have spawning as the Blue Terran from QED.Goste.
Alright, fantastic. So there we go. I think I've fixed any issues. There we go. Alright, sweet. Yep, so this will be the first TVT of the night. Last week we were actually blessed with quite a few TVTs. I believe it ended at I think we had 5 or so by the end of the night. Nice little pentagram star there by Goste, queued up after his supply depot will finish.
Yeah, he does do that every time he queues up that barracks. He likes to make the SCV do a little dance. But yeah, as you were saying, we did have quite a few Terrans from both teams last week, so it was interesting to see all the Terran versus Terran matchups being played out. A lot of Marine tank and a bit of bio there as well. So there's a few different styles and variations that both players could be doing here in terms of their overall unit composition. Maybe bio, maybe mech, maybe Marine tank. So I'll be really interested to see what both of these players do. I'm expecting a 1 Rax FE out of both of them, just to play super safe and standard, but you know, we might see gas come down a bit early from one or other of them, and that'd certainly make for a very interesting game.
And no, definitely it would. And I learnt this week, guys, because I was watching a stream, because I've always tried to figure out how, when you're getting an SCV attacked, how to pull it away from the barracks. I learnt that the magic button to press is T, because I've struggled with that for so long and cancelled so many barracks and whatnot, just by hitting escape over and over again, just to try and get that Marine away, but it never worked until the other day. It was awesome. Yep. yeah. And it looks like you were right with the 1 Rax. Yeah.
Goste managed to micro his SCV out of the way of being attacked by Eagle's one, and he will now trap it inside with the supply depot. Yeah, 1 Rax FE from both players now, so they are just going to be playing safe, and the continuation in terms of the gas timing will be the real tell. So I haven't seen any gas from either of these players just yet. Maybe we'll see a couple barracks go down first, or 1 barracks and then 1 gas, or just 2 gas straight away. But it does look like Eagle is going to be going for more biocentric sort of play. He is putting down 1 Rax first, and then probably looking to make another gas from here. Whereas Goste is playing quite similar to last game, where he has put down both of his barracks before any gas has gone down at all. So he will be looking for another bio play, most likely, just off 2 base, and then maybe transitioning into a later game Marine tank once he does secure his 3rd base.
Oh, cool. Alright, yeah, no, so exactly. So we're seeing both the gases being thrown down now for each player. Goste's slightly after, but I'd assume that'd just be kind of like the general time sink that you do eventually see when players do mirror builds. After a while they do start to get a bit of a time differentiation, and here comes the SCV transfer for Goste as well.
Yeah, actually Eagle did put down both of his gas before completing his 3rd barracks, so that was the little variation in the build that we will be seeing, and it just allows Goste to have a bit more of a Marine count early on, so probably looking to exploit some sort of a timing, whereas Eagle, I'm thinking, will be, you know, playing a bit safer and probably looking for a transition into tank tech a bit sooner than Goste will. But that being said, he only has 2 harvesters in each refinery, so just looking to harvest a minimal amount of gas for the moment from each of these refineries, which is a kind of a neat little thing to do to keep your gas income quite high without sacrificing too much of your mineral income. And he's potentially looking for a similar timing attack as Goste's looking for here. He is now researching stim Goste, so yeah, the stim timing is going to be quite the same for both of them. but the add-ons for Eagle will just be a bit faster, so he is looking to be just a little bit ahead here.
Yeah, in terms of like the mineral count and kind of like the structures that come from that, he'll definitely be ahead. But if Gosse can kind of survive into the later stages or even like the mid game, the extra amount of gas that he's going to mine is going to enable him to get kind of those techie units or just a few more medevacs and things like that that can just kind of change how a battle's going. Say if Gosse has an extra 2 medevacs because he's able to have that extra 2 SCVs and gas at his main and then an extra refinery down at his natural, whilst Eagle's just about halfway done with his now, it'll just allow him to have that extra 100, 200 gas just to get those medevacs out and kind of increase the survivability of his units.
Yeah, that being said though, there is currently actually a 7 SCV deficit for Goste at the moment, which is quite significant at this stage of the game.
Yeah.
Eagle actually on 39 SCVs, now 40, and Goste just creeping up to 33, so that's going to be a bit of a hit for Goste in terms of his economy, and he is also just a little bit supply blocked, so any timing that he could have perhaps exploited is now going to be a bit weaker, and I do think he's actually forgotten to put down the extra add-on his 3rd barracks, so this timing attack that he is looking to push for, similar to last game, isn't going to be quite as effective as I think he might have hoped for.
Yeah, no, and also Eagle nearly coming up to about halfway done with his +1 attack as well, whilst Gosse decides to go down the path of siege tanks. So something we saw last week actually was, even though the player, in most of the TVTs, the player with the more Marines often ended up losing, just because of the really nice sieging up of some of the tanks by the player who had less supply. So for Gosse's sake, hopefully he gets some really nice siege ups and whatnot, just to try and narrow down the amount of Marines that Eagle has, because he's at quite an advantage at the moment, in both an economical and kind of an army sense here as well.
Yeah, actually the transition from into tanks after getting those medevacs out has been a bit quicker for Goste, but he has actually had the reactor on the starport for quite a while, but hasn't actually produced a single medevac yet. So despite his tag being out earlier, Goste's medevacs weren't actually on the field until well after Eagle's have been, and now with siege tech on the way for Eagle, I feel like his timing is just going to be a bit better, but both armies going to be moving out into the middle of the map now, and it will, as you said, come down to the engagements. There aren't actually any tanks with siege out yet for Eagle, so just this one tank could really change the battle entirely for both players, but actually there's stim going to be coming in for Eagle, and he's going to catch a few of the forces out of position here. Tank's going to siege up, and it's going to hit a lot of Marines. There aren't actually any Marauders left in the force, but it isn't going to matter. The DPS of these Marines with the medevacs to heal is going to be plenty to just destroy the army of Goste here, and he is falling significantly behind as a result of that. Losing that initial tank is going to cost him big time, as well as losing the entire army, and now we do have a double medevac lift up into the main from Eagle. Missile turret will spot it, and there's a tank actually really nicely positioned in the main here. Going to deflect the majority of the damage here, but there's still nothing protecting the SCV line here, and a lot of SCV kills going to be had here. 19 for Eagle before he's managing to lift out of there, and Goste really feeling the pain here as he types lol, or a demented lol into the chat.
And he's going to be able to get out with these medevacs fairly easily, and yeah, if you look at the reinforcing army here for Eagle, I think he's kind of assailed quite, I wouldn't say insurmountable, because it's StarCraft and anything can happen, but it is quite an impressive deficit that he's worked Goste into being in.
Yeah, and Goste actually has stopped medevac production for the time being and has decided to get out 2 Vikings just to maintain air superiority. There's only 2 more tanks in his army, so he still does actually have a tank advantage, but obviously the Marine count is well in favour of Eagle at this point, as well as the SCV count, and Eagle should be looking to take his 3rd quite soon. I think his main's looking like it could nearly, well, it's not anywhere near mined out, but he certainly could do with a 3rd base at about this timing is when he'd be liking to take that and press his advantage even more, just to get out more tanks with the extra gas income and throw down a few more barracks. But at the moment, it is looking very good for Eagle. And Goste to be on the back foot here. He is going to continue with his tank production, and he's actually cutting medevacs, as I said before, and only just now starting his +1 attack, so the upgrade advantage is going to be well in favour of Eagle. Has he actually started his +2? Yeah, he started +2/+2 off of double engineering bay with that armory starting the +1 for the tanks, so yeah, really on top of his play here is Eagle. Staying on top of upgrades is going to be really huge for this battle that's coming up soon.
Yeah, definitely. And if you actually look at the production facilities for Goste, he's got 3 barracks, 1 factory in that starport, where Eagle just before actually built an additional 8 barracks to what he already had. So he goes up to the magic count of 11 barracks. 11 barracks, 1 factory and 1 starport. So he's quite considerably ahead in terms of resupply, but this could be one of those bad seat engagements we were talking about, but yeah, it looks like Goste's actually just spread himself
from
too
Eagle,
thin.
Yeah, actually does lose the tank there, so he's going to lose the positional battle for the moment, and no tanks on the way reinforcing, and actually quite a lot of these barracks that he has put down. In fact, every single barracks he's put down past his initial 3 don't have any add-ons at all on them, so just making Marines one at a time, which I think is a bit of a wasted opportunity here. Goste's trying to pull some of the forces out of position from Eagle, just to try and get some advantage from his siege tanks, but it looks like he might be quite susceptible to a drop here from Eagle if he does decide to do that. But yeah, just a pure Marine force from Eagle, perhaps just looking to outmuscle his opponent here.
And I don't think Eagle's actually realised as of yet that Goste has been able to sneak in this 3rd base as it's just about to complete, but all these catching the tanks on siege.
Catching just on siege. Yeah, that's not good for Goste. Looks like this might just be the end for him. There's the GG.
Alright, so Eagle able to tie the series up at 1-1 for Clan Fusion Slugs, or the Fusion Sluggers clan. And guys, as always, we'll be back after this short break with some more games in this do or die match set. I don't know how you'd call it. Let's think. Series. Perfect word. Too easy. Alright guys, so once again we're going to chuck everyone on mute and then just throw on some more music, and we'll be back shortly.